Hi, good evening. Welcome to JSTV. I'm back again, and I've got a Brighton fan who came to the match yesterday between Newcastle and Brighton. We drew ones each at St James's Park. I've got Kate, and I've also got Dylan as well. And Kate did a magnificent message this afternoon on social media. And Kate, good afternoon to you. And Dylan.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me on. Very grateful. Thank you.
Fantastic stuff. And yeah, if you like the video, like what you watch, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Also, do follow Striga Advocate on social media as well. The link is down the title and it's going to be title as well. And if you like super chat's open. You like to become a member, it's 99p. Also, like and subscribe to the channel as well. So Kate and Dylan, you both went to the match yesterday at St James's Park. It's your first time, I believe. Tell me about your experience up in Newcastle and at St James's Park.
Great. Well, it's a ground that I've wanted to go to for a really, really long time. It's always got such a good reputation, and each season we try and pick off a few of the big ones to go to. So to have it as the last home game for you at the end of the season and our last away game, felt like it was going to be the perfect one to go to. So we set off super early from Brighton, about 6:45, I think, but arrived in Newcastle about 11:45. Loads of Brighton fans on the train, which was a really good laugh, and also some Newcastle fans as well as we started to get a bit further up north. And the weather was just spot on, wasn't it? I wasn't expecting such nice weather up in the north, but we had shorts on, which I haven't been to a game in shorts for absolutely ages this season. It's been such a long winter. But as soon as we arrived, everyone's super friendly. We just had a good walk through the city. I'm personally a massive fan of city centre grounds. You know, I love it when they're right in the city and you can walk straight there, because you just get that extra vibe. There's something really special about having the huge stadium in amongst all the shops and the houses and all of that. So that was great. We had a little wander up, and loads of people came up to us and were like, "Oh, you look a bit lost. Where are you going?" And we were like, "Oh, well, we want to go for a drink somewhere," but we weren't sure where to go. And people were like, "You can go anywhere in Newcastle. There's no home and away pubs. You know, you'll be welcome anywhere." So in the end, we thought we'd go Shearer's Bar because it's such a famous bar on the walk.
Yeah.
And we stopped in there for a couple of pints and then had a little wander around outside, and had a good chat with loads of people, didn't we? Like, loads of people coming up and having a chat with us, which was great. I mean, that's what I love about away days, really. Like, you have more banter with all sorts of people in that. So we had a good wander around, and then went in the ground, and the ground was absolutely epic. We liked the free shirts that the club was giving away, so we got a free t-shirt as we come in.
Okay.
Obviously the long walk up to the top, but it wasn't too bad. It was just about manageable. And then we bumped into quite a lot of people we knew at the top, and the view is insane. A lot of people have said, "Oh, you won't be able to see anything up there," but I didn't think it was like that at all. I thought the view was epic, and being able to look all over the city in such a nice day was brilliant.
Oh, fantastic stuff. And what about you, Dylan? What was your experience at St James's Park? And I believe it's your first time as well. Tell me about your experience.
Yeah, I found it great because I think it's such a great and historic ground as well. So many people have played there, and I loved the display during the game at the start with the flags and the little plastic things that they were waving. I thought that was brilliant, and the halftime stuff they brought on Papi Cisse and I think a few other players, which I thought was quite cool.
Gutierrez.
Yeah. And I think the fans were great. Like, they were all just mental. I saw a few have their tops off. Just
Oh no, it was balmy, wasn't it?
The ground is just massive as well. Like, it is really high up, and I just love the stadium.
The bit over to the right when you look out is like incredible, isn't it? You're like, wow, there's so many people there. And the whole flag thing, I didn't realise that you guys do that all the time. Like, that was well cool. Really good. It was something we definitely need to take back to the Amex, isn't it? I loved a bit of flag work.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, look, we asked at every single home game this season. I mean, big up to the Wall Flags as well for organising it as well. They've been fantastic our season. I mean, they're hard to get to. I try to send a tweet to them as well. I never get a reply for Wall Flags, but it is what it is. if they were listening to my channel, big up to the War Flags as well. Yeah, so that's your first game. And if you tell me about the Newcastle fans, if you tell me about the Newcastle fans, your experience, I know you said they were friendly. Any messages for Newcastle fans who are going to the game?
Oh yeah, they were all right laugh. Everywhere we went in the city, people come up to us and had a chat. When we went into Shearer's Bar, the first thing the barmaid said to us was like, "Oh, it's great to have the away fans in here. Welcome to our city." So it felt really, really good natured, really good fun. Everyone up for the game. It was really loud. You could feel it once in the second half when you guys started to get a bit more on top. You could feel the atmosphere getting really quite intimidating. I was like, "Oh, here we go now. We need to be a bit careful or we're going to concede." So, yeah, totally friendly, right laugh, exactly as I expected. I knew that Geordies would be good fun, really, and that's exactly what we experienced. So, great day out. I'll definitely be making it an annual trip.
Good for you. Fantastic stuff. And for you, Dylan, same question for you, Newcastle fans. Absolutely fantastic. They're so passionate, so loyal. And what's your message to the Newcastle fans?
Yeah, well, I just thought they were great as well. The people in the bar, all the Geordies, they just have lots of fun, and you could see what it means to a lot of the people that go. Like, there's so much passion and love for the club, and yeah, like they're all just mental, but they're all such great people, and I love the sort of vibe outside the ground as well. Everyone could just go. There's no hatred or anything. Everyone's just really friendly.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. And let's go on to the game. We finished at 1 each yesterday. You scored the first goal and then the second one from Longstaff on the stroke of half time. I thought Brighton were absolutely fantastic going forward with the ball. With Bud De Zerbi, it's got a style of play. I'm a fan of De Zerbi. I follow his career in Sassuolo. The style of play he plays is so attacking, so open, and it's just been a fresh yesterday, really fresh to see.
Yeah, we've absolutely loved having him as our manager. Do you know what I mean? The sort of passion and desire that he shows has been epic. At the home games, I love watching him going absolutely nuts on the touchline. It's one of my favourite things to do, having a look at De Zerbi. But we've been struggling for the last few months. Not gonna lie. I don't know. You probably heard the chant about we scored a goal when we scored the goal, because I don't think any of us were that convinced we were going to score yesterday, particularly with Pedro out as well. So, and to get a goal from Joel Veltman certainly wasn't who I was expecting might have scored yesterday. So, yeah, great for us to get a goal yesterday, and also the win against Villa just kind of steadied the ship, because we had been on a bit of a having a bit of a struggle since the European loss, really. So, much better to get back into control. Great fun watching under De Zerbi, although we all sit there like this. The Man City game, when we were playing it out across the back against Man City, I think it was a bit too stressful and it didn't go in our favour. But, I'd rather play exciting football and have exciting games, which we've definitely had this season.
Fantastic stuff. And Dylan, in your words, what about yesterday's game? What did you feel? 1 each. Are you happy for a point yesterday? Good up to St James's. And what impressed you yesterday?
Yeah, I think it's a great result for Brighton, because, well, we have been struggling this season since the start of the new year. I think we've had a few issues defensively. Not scoring many goals because we've had a lot of injuries. And I thought going up to Newcastle, I was getting a bit nervous. I thought we were going to get absolutely thumped. But then, we got there because it's a really historic ground. There's loads of atmosphere, like we said before. And I was getting a bit nervous. But then I think a positive start to the game, and then we did get that goal. I think it was great. But I do sort of think the time wasting did actually lead to your goal. We wasted a lot of time.
You did, especially the first half.
Yeah, that caused a lot of stoppage time, and that sort of, I think that was when led to your goal, because you scored with the last kick of the half.
We did, and that's through Sean Longstaff. Lovely work for Lewis Horde to Gordon, into Elliot Anderson. Lovely crossing, and Longstaff finished it off as well. He's not my favourite player, I'm not going to lie, but at the end of the day, he's fine as a squad player for me, because I want to win things in future, and I have as a squad player, not my first team, because I look forward to see Tonali, Jure, and Bruno Guimaraes as midfield three next season, hopefully. But that's another day, another way. So, yeah, look at the second half. I mean, it was kind of all Newcastle. And the fact is, right, I mean, you just couldn't finish. Cross has been poor. Murphy's been poor. Livermendel's cross has not been great, I can't lie. And look at Ivy Barnes came on, and he had two great chances. One if over the top, should have scored, and another one from the left. He should have guided into the far corner, and he didn't. I mean, you must be relieved there, Kate.
Yeah, we didn't offer a lot in the second half. I think when we brought the subs on and we were bringing on our under 21s really, and you guys were bringing on the big guns, I thought, oh, we might be in trouble here. Yeah, second half we didn't offer a lot. I think we had more chances to go more than one ahead in the first half, really. Do you know what I mean? I think Enciso's header and Welbeck's one-on-one, they could have gone a bit differently in the first half. Second half, I think I think they were a bit stunned that it was 1-1, and actually we would stick with that. I'll be honest, I didn't mind the gamesmanship. We've had a few games when we should have closed out games that we didn't close out. So actually, for us to kind of tighten our belts and hold it down in the second half was all right for me. I think we were all a bit wounded from losing, well, me certainly losing 4-0 away at Roma, and when we should have just tightened it up a little bit. And there's definitely been a few games when we've conceded in the last 5-10 minutes. So actually walking away out of there with a draw in the end was probably a fair result, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree, because look, at the end of the day, we could have got another one if we would have won the game. We had an offside goal ruled out. Miguel Miron did a pathetic dive as well. Beat his man, decides to dive as well. Why on earth did he do that? I do not know. I think he'd be better off going to Saudi at the end of the season. And it was a pathetic dive, though, Dylan. I mean, I don't want to see that any of our players or your players or anyone at all did they do it.
I thought the ref did a good job booking both of them. I don't know if they were taking the mickey out of them on Match of the Day, weren't they, last night, saying what are the South Americans up to, really. I thought the ref did a good job booking both of them. I totally agree. I always have a moan at Dylan and his school football, in his football club, because I think we're not teaching these young lads like how to play football. You shouldn't be trying to cheat anything out of these games, really. And nowadays with VAR and the cameras everywhere, what are you trying to do? Like, the whole world can see what you're doing. I don't get it.
Fact, absolute fact. And I've just seen a tweet from Ian Albright. I know Ian, by the way. He's a fantastic guy, and he looks after us on social media. And he sent a message to you, and he said, "Glad you enjoyed your trip. Newcastle fans, Effie welcomes Effie away supporter to our wonderful city. Apart from unwashed down the road, as known as Sunderland." And he said to see you next season. That is a fantastic tweet from Ian. And so what do you want to say about to Ian?
Great. Thanks for that, Ian. It was great to meet so many of you up there, and I think great for both clubs, particularly us, to be well celebrated in the Premier League now, and looking to just crack on next season. I think we've had a great season. Nothing can take away from the first time for us in Europe and how much fun that's been. But I can't wait again to get started. Me and Dee are already like, what are we going to do all summer? Luckily, we've got the Euros, haven't we? But
yeah. So we've got one here as well from Dylan from Paul Papatine, another Newcastle fan, and he said, "Go beat Chelsea. Your rivals Palace or breathing down your necks. It would do us a favour as well. Brighton played very well and deserved a point." And that's from Paul Dylan.
Oh, thanks, Paul. That's good as well. I appreciate the honesty there. I like it when we're all like that as clubs. 1-1 was a fair result. I think we definitely want to beat Chelsea. I think for a lot of people in the club now, our dislike of Chelsea is pretty up there, and not far behind our rivalry with Palace after the way that Chelsea kind of took so many of our key players over the last few years. So definitely big game on Wednesday to beat Chelsea, and then obviously we're hoping to absolutely whip Man United on Sunday as well.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. And also in Gallon 73, I mean, I'll read this out. It's thanks, ma'am. It's going to be tough. Hope we stay around. Give the big boys a bloody nose from time to time. And that's from Gallon. And here from Stuart Humphrey as well. Big up to you, Stu. Since we got promoted to the Premier League together, I've always kept one eye how you doing. hoping you Champions League again. And that's from Stuart. And I believe he is, I think he's a Brighton fan. I could be wrong. So that's a good comment as well. So let's go on to your player of the season, Dylan. Who's your player of the season for Brighton?
Oh, I think I'd either have to go with Jean-Paul Van Hecke or Pascal Gross, because I think they've both been brilliant, really consistent. I would maybe have to give it to Van Hecke, though. I think he came into the squad quite late last season. And that one game against Man City towards the end of the season, he was really good. Like, he held up Haaland so well. He didn't give him a sniff in the game. And I think this season he's been really consistent next to Dunk, even though we have had a few defensive issues with conceding a lot of goals. But I think him and Dunk have been really solid. But then also with Pascal Gross, he's been really consistent this year. I think he's so underrated, one of the most underrated players in the league. With him, like, he always shows up in the big games. But I think he's played so many games, yeah. So I think he's brilliant as well. But I would have to give it to Van Hecke.
Fantastic stuff. And Kate, who's your Brighton's player of the season?
Oh, that's hard. I mean, I've probably got similar to D, although I think João Pedro, for his consistency in the goal scoring. We haven't had a consistent striker that's been able to score 15, 20 goals a season for ages, and so it's been quite good to have a striker like that this season. Obviously he's been out injured a little bit or whatever, but with him in the team we look like we've got a proper outlet. So that's been great to see how he's come on this season and been able to just get straight in the team and get on with it, which was great from the start.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go for Pedro as well, if because he's doing the goals. I like Pedro, João Pedro. It's after him. We had to take over, and Watford didn't want to sell at the time, but he didn't offer enough money. But he went for 30 mil, and I think that's 30 mil well spent. I think this guy should be in the Brazilian squads in the future.
Yeah, that's what we all think at the club, really. Like, we got a steal there. We've looked, having him back for the Villa game made us just look much stronger again, because we hadn't had him playing for a few weeks. So that's made a big difference. He's got a nice touch.
It's a shame he hasn't been called up for the Copa America squad, though, for Brazil. I think he's been a bit overlooked. Well, I mean, Brazil is a very strong team, though, but I think he is a talent, and in the future can be a big player for Brazil.
Yeah, he's already grown a lot this season. Like, got a lot less selfish. He's had to play a lot of different positions. Really, he's played out wide and centre, depending on what we're doing with Welbeck and that. So. He's really grown already this year in terms of his sort of versatility about where he can play, in terms of whether he's providing options for others. So I think he's definitely one to watch next season, and I'm really excited. I'm sure we'll keep hold of him, so it's good.
Yeah. Let's hope so. Before we go talk about a bit of Newcastle as well, I've got a tweet. Look at your tweet you sent. It says, absolutely epic away day. Newcastle St James's Park exceeded expectations. Definitely want to make an annual event. Once each seems a fair scoreline. Very good tweet. And you got nearly 76,000 views on there.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all, John. I do like a tweet, but it was a nice video, to be fair. The weather looks great up there, didn't it? And I thought it does look pretty impressive, but that's down to the Newcastle fans in St James's Park. I just happened to take the video.
But fantastic stuff. I'll definitely be back at the Amex next season, no doubt, hopefully. And if it's a 5:30 kickoff on a Saturday, you know what? Especially in the summertime, cool.
Yeah,
that'd be fantastic, if you see what I mean. But don't be selfish. But hey ho, if it comes out, it comes out. So yeah, we'll talk about Newcastle United. Yes, it's a disappointing draw. We needed to win that game yesterday from our end. But for me, I want to talk to you about Eddie Howe. I mean, is Eddie Howe a big enough manager for Newcastle United? For me, I'm saying yes. I'm Eddie in all day. I'm an Eddie Howe fan. Is he the man who's going to take us to glory days? He's going to win us a title or win us a cup as manager?
I'm definitely an Eddie Howe fan. I think,
that's what we like.
You look at the clubs that have really made a difference year on, year out. Consistency is the key. Yeah, you're going to have some seasons that are a little bit better, some that are a little bit worse. But actually, as long as you're building all the time, moving forward, that's what makes a difference. So I would definitely be sticking with Eddie. I think, you know, you had a great season last season. Everyone has struggled with injuries this year, whether it's, you know, the Winter World Cup, whether it's all this extra time we're playing and the extra games now with all the thing, you know, but actually still a good season to finish where you are and hopefully push on next year, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, like Eddie Howe's going to be here for a long time, and I've seen social media saying that he's not big enough to take off forward. There's only 4 managers I'd take if Eddie Howe does decide to move on. There's 4 of them, and that's going to be for another time. So, yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I mean, you look at the players we've got. I mean, where do you think? I mean, if you're a Newcastle fan, where do you think you need to improve?
I might leave that one for D. What do you think, D?
Well, there's Newcastle have quite a lot of depth in there with a lot of quite good squad players. Like you're talking Sean Longstaff and Jacob Murphy. But I think when you're talking about, like, I think some of those players will eventually move on with a lot of players coming in and the takeover obviously happening. Like Tonali came in last year for, I'm not sure, was it 60 million or so?
52 million.
Yeah, I think, and if they make quite a few big signings this season as well, this summer, I think quite a few squad players will need to move on. So I think a bit of depth in midfield, as I do really rate Joe Linton and Bruno Guimaraes. Yeah, but both brilliant. But I like the centre backs as well. Botman, Shaw, I think they're all brilliant. A left back, there's not. Is there a nailed on left back? I mean, you got Lewis Hall.
Lewis Hall will be nailed on next season. 28 million will be activated, and it'll be our player. Matt Target is out injured at the minute. I don't ever want to see Dan Burn playing there ever again. I really don't. I can't lie. But Trippier and Livramento could play there as well. But for me, Lewis Hall is nailed on to left back for me. But we're going to come on to Dan Burn in a minute. But left back, Dan Burn. Oh no, Lewis Hall, my guy left back.
Yeah, I think I do really like the defense of Newcastle. I think I like Dubravka as well in goal. I think he's really, since Nick Pope got injured, I think he really stepped up. That game against Liverpool at Anfield, I think he was really brilliant. He made loads of saves, and I think he has really stepped up. But Nick Pope's back because he was on the bench yesterday, and yeah, I think they've got quite a lot of good goalie depth. So I think it's a very strong squad, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if I give my midfield 3, who would you pick as a midfield 3 if you was a Newcastle fan? To start next season.
When Tonali comes back, I would definitely have him sitting a bit deeper, and then maybe Joe Linton and Bruno Guimaraes but that maybe it seems a bit unbalanced though. But that is a very strong midfield, to be honest. I think that'll be up there in the Premier League as top 6 midfields, 100%.
Cool. And I mean, like I said as well, I mean, where do you think Brighton will go moving forward under the Serbi kit? Do you think he'll be here next season, number 1? And secondly, will he be backed?
Good question. Will he be here? I think he probably will be here now. I think I don't think any of us were overly impressed with the sort of flirtation with going elsewhere. And I think it didn't do the team any good. You know, last week he said, I'm really happy at Brighton, I want to stay. And we beat Villa at home. Do you know what I mean? That the weeks when we're sort of a bit unsure about what's going to happen. The club in general doesn't like the sort of gossiping, that kind of chat. You know, in Tony Bloom we trust. That's what our leadership is, really. So that was a bit unsettling middle part of the season, but I think he will be with us next season. We hope he will be. We play great football under him, and it's exciting moving forward. And I think you can really see how much the players have come on and are committed as a team. Where will we be next season? I think I'd like to see us right back up there punching for Europe again next season. I think that the club will back him. I think we will. We've got money there sitting in the bank now that we didn't really spend last year, and I think it's time to spend a bit of that money. It's not in the club's nature to go for big superstar names. We want players that are going to fit into our system, but I'd like to see us probably strengthen midfield a little bit. Like, I mean, Dee's talked about, Gross and Gilmore have done absolutely great this season, but we need a bit of pace at times. Our back four's been a little bit slow at times, and in the midfield as well. So maybe someone there. And there was talk of Dewsbury Hall, wasn't there, at the start of the year? So that might be interesting. I'd like us to get a couple of solid, good money players that can kind of come straight in, just to strengthen. We've got a lot of youth. I mean, some of the games we've been playing with, 9-10 players, 21 and under, really. So it breeds for an exciting future, but also we do need a bit of stability there as well.
Fantastic stuff. You get the players coming in. Dewsbury Hall will be very interesting for Brighton. I feel like fits in that midfield straight away. And I think he's a wonderful player. And Leicester's going to probably need the money anyway. So if you get him, that'd be amazing. And I've got to ask you before we wrap up the show, the marks out of 10 for your manager and the marks out of 10 for your season. Dylan, I'm going to start with you. Marks out of 10 for the survey and marks out of 10 for the season.
If I'm ranking De Zerbi off this season, I'd give him a 7. I think 7 is solid because he's been good, but I think we have struggled at times. And he doesn't like to take responsibility for losses like this. Sometimes he tries to blame on players and young players. So sometimes he does get a bit out of. But I think he's still a really solid manager, and I back him all the way.
Cool stuff. And the lovely Kate, I'll go ask you the same question.
Yeah, so I'll probably go 8 out of 10 for De Zerbi this season. It's been exciting, but there's definitely been some erratic periods. Some teams have kind of worked us out a few times, and potentially we needed to change up the game plan, which we weren't able to do. So that's something to work on next season. But his passion, his desire, his fun, that's what I like to see when I go and see football. Do you know what I mean? So I love that, and I hope he stays for that. Yeah. For the season, I would say 9 out of 10 because the European games were absolutely, great crack for us. Really fun. We loved having all the away fans over. They've been our best games of the season. Disappointed not to get there again, but actually, when I've done the legwork and looked around, West Ham didn't get there last year. It's a hard the first time. I think actually we needed to be a bit realistic. We probably all were getting a bit carried away over ourselves. If we can finish top 10 this season, I'll be more than happy with that.
Fantastic stuff. For me, Newcastle season, I'm going to give myself, we got 2 games left to go. United on Wednesday and Brentford away as well. I'll give my season an 8 out of 10 because of the season we had a lot of injuries as well. 15 players out to one stage between December and January time. It was so frustrating, but we got on with it. And you know what? I think we don't really want to be 6 at the minute, but we've got to be United on Wednesday. I'll be there to that game as well. Sadly, I can't make Brentford, but you know what? It's been a fantastic season for both of our teams as well. I mean, there's both room to improve. We need to improve in a couple of areas. Brighton needs to improve in a couple of areas as well. You need to keep your best players. Ivan Ferguson as well, you need to keep on to as well. I think he's a wonderful young player as well. He's got a hat-trick against us as well. And Pedro, he fits in nicely. I mean, Adingra, is it Adingra?
The winger,
he absolutely spun Liverpool yesterday. Absolutely spun him yesterday. He's going to come good. And Ciso will come great. Yeah. And Undaf is going to hopefully come back from Stuttgart.
Yeah, if he comes back, that'll be good as well. Yeah, that's a good strength.
Yeah. We will see. That'd be brilliant. So that's it. We're going to wrap up the show, guys, because it's been amazing coming on the show, guys. Kate and Dylan, it's been brilliant. But I'm not going to let you go just yet. I got you backstage for after the recording quickly. And where can people find you on your socials, Kate?
Thanks for having us, John. A really nice little end to our Sunday and our weekend away in Newcastle. So, generally, I'm just on Twitter posting about my life, which predominantly revolves around football. So I'm Stringer for Kate on Twitter and Brighton Family on Tour on Instagram.
Fantastic stuff. And the links in the description as well, which is Stringer for Kit on social media as well. And do you have any socials, Dillian, so people can follow you?
Not many socials,
No?
to be honest. I'm not really, no.
That's fair enough. And before we go as well, I mean, I did ask you earlier about Newcastle fans as well. You said that as well, which is brilliant. And we've got to make sure you come back against St James's next season. I'm going to come to as well the Amex Stadium next season as well. It'd be great to meet up as well if possible. And guys, if you like the video, like what you watch, please show Kate and Dylan some love as well. Make sure you subscribe to John Sinclair TV as always. And as always, have a fantastic evening.